Hey garden fam, welcome back to The Sprout. Today we're talking about one of the most beloved plants in the world, lavender. That incredible fragrance, those beautiful purple-blue flowers, the silvery green foliage, the bees buzzing around it all summer. Lavender is the plant that makes a garden feel like a peaceful escape. And the best part? It's not hard to grow. But here's the thing, lavender is different from most garden plants. It doesn't like rich soil. It doesn't like a lot of water. It doesn't like shade. If you treat lavender like a rose or a tomato, you will kill it. But if you understand what it needs, it will thrive for years with almost no work. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. The different types of lavender, sun, soil, pH, watering, fertilizing, pruning, harvesting, common problems, and how to keep your lavender plants healthy and productive for years to come. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We put out new gardening videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Also, drop a comment below. Do you grow lavender? What's your favorite variety? I'd love to hear about it. Now, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the different types of lavender. There are many species, but the most common for home gardens are three. English lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, is the classic. It's the most cold-hardy, surviving winters in zones 5 through 8. It has the sweetest fragrance. It's excellent for culinary use, sachets, and essential oil. Popular varieties include Hydecoat, which is compact with dark purple flowers, Munstead, which is an early bloomer with lavender blue flowers, and Royal Velvet, which has deep purple flowers and is very fragrant. French lavender, Lavandula dentata, has toothed leaves and a stronger, more camphor-like scent. It's less cold-hardy, zones 8 through 9. It's beautiful in containers. Spanish lavender, Lavandula stoicus, has distinctive rabbit ear bracts on top of the flowers. It's also less cold-hardy, zones 7 through 9. It blooms earlier than English lavender. For most gardeners in cold climates, English lavender is the best choice. Now let's start with sun requirements. Lavender needs full sun. That means at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every single day. In too much shade, lavender gets leggy, floppy, and produces few flowers. It also becomes more prone to root rot and fungal diseases. So find your sunniest spot. That's where lavender belongs. In very hot climates, a little afternoon shade is okay, but morning sun is essential. Now let's talk about soil. This is the most important part of lavender care. Lavender needs well-draining soil. It absolutely hates wet feet. If the soil stays soggy after rain or watering, the roots will rot and the plant will die. In nature, lavender grows on dry, rocky hillsides with almost no organic matter. So here's the rule. If you have heavy clay soil, don't plant lavender in the ground unless you amend it heavily or build a raised bed. Add coarse sand, gravel, or perlite to improve drainage. Better yet, plant lavender in raised beds, on slopes, or in containers. Lavender also prefers poor to moderately fertile soil. Too much organic matter or fertilizer makes the plant grow soft, floppy leaves and fewer flowers. Now let's talk about pH. Lavender prefers neutral to slightly alkaline soil, with a pH between 6.5 and 8.0. It does not like acidic soil. If your soil is acidic, add garden lime to raise the pH. Before planting, test your soil. If it's below 6.5, mix in lime a few months before planting. This is one of the most overlooked reasons for lavender failure. An alkaline-loving plant in acidic soil will be stunted and yellow.
Now let's talk about planting. The best time to plant lavender is spring, after the last frost. Fall planting works in mild climates, but spring is safer in cold climates. Dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball, but no deeper. Lavender does not like to be planted too deep. The top of the root ball should be level with or slightly above the soil surface. In heavy soil, plant it a little high so water runs away from the crown. Backfill with soil mixed with sand or gravel. Water in well. Space plants according to their mature size. English lavender varieties need 12 to 18 inches apart. French and Spanish lavender need 2 to 3 feet apart. Now let's talk about watering. This is where people kill lavender. Lavender is drought tolerant. It does not need a lot of water. Overwatering is the #1 killer. Water deeply after planting to settle the soil. After that, water only when the soil is completely dry. In most gardens, that means watering once a week in the first summer, then once every 2 to 3 weeks once established. In hot, dry climates, you may need to water more often, but always check the soil first. If the top 2 inches are dry, water. If they're moist, wait. Never let lavender sit in wet soil. In winter, don't water at all if you get regular rain. Now let's talk about fertilizing. Lavender needs almost no fertilizer. Too much fertilizer, especially too much nitrogen, will give you lots of soft, floppy leaves and very few flowers. It also makes the plant more prone to winter damage. If your soil is very poor, apply a light sprinkle of bone meal or a low nitrogen fertilizer like 5-10-5 in early spring. That's it. Do not fertilize after midsummer. You want the plant to harden off before winter, not push out soft new growth. Now let's talk about pruning. This is essential for keeping lavender healthy and productive. Prune twice a year. First, in early spring, as soon as you see new green growth emerging from the base. Cut back any dead or damaged wood. Shape the plant lightly. Do not cut into the old, woody stems. Lavender does not regrow from bare wood. Second, after flowering, usually midsummer, cut back the flower stems and about 1 to 2 inches of the leafy growth. This keeps the plant compact and prevents it from getting woody and leggy. Never cut back into the old wood where there are no green leaves. This will kill the branch. For older, woody plants, you can cut back hard into the wood. No, once lavender is woody, it's hard to rejuvenate. Some gardeners say you can cut back to the lowest green shoots, but it's risky. The best practice is to prune regularly from the beginning to prevent woodiness. Now let's talk about harvesting. Harvest lavender when about half the flower buds on a stem have opened. This is when the fragrance is strongest and the color is best. Cut the stems in the morning after the dew has dried. Tie them in small bundles and hang them upside down in a dark, dry, well-ventilated place. After 2 to 4 weeks, the flowers are dry. Strip them off the stems and store them in airtight jars. Use the dried flowers for sachets, culinary lavender, lavender sugar, or lavender shortbread. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1, yellow leaves. Usually overwatering or poor drainage. Let the soil dry out. Improve drainage. If the problem is severe, the roots may already be rotting. Problem 2, brown, crispy leaves. Underwatering or heat stress. Water deeply. Mulch around the plant to retain moisture. Problem 3, leggy, floppy growth with few flowers. Not enough sun or too much nitrogen fertilizer. Move to a sunnier spot. Stop fertilizing. Problem 4, woody, bare stems in the center. Lack of regular pruning. Prune every year after flowering. Prevent woodiness by never cutting into bare wood. Problem 5, root rot. The plant wilts, turns yellow, and dies, caused by overwatering or poorly draining soil. There's no cure. Remove the plant, improve drainage before replanting. Problem 6, powdery mildew, white powder on leaves, caused by high humidity and poor air circulation. Space plants properly, water at the base, not overhead. Remove affected leaves. Problem 7, leaf spot, brown or black spots on leaves. Remove affected leaves, improve air circulation. Don't compost infected leaves. Problem 8, pests. Lavender is generally pest resistant, but it can get spittlebugs and whiteflies. Spittlebugs leave white foam on stems. They don't do much harm. Spray them off with water. Whiteflies fly up when disturbed. Use yellow sticky traps. Problem 9, lavender doesn't survive winter. Could be the wrong variety for your climate. English lavender is hardy to zone 5. French and Spanish lavender are only hardy to zone 7 or 8. In cold climates, plant English lavender. Also, wet winter soil kills lavender. Plant on a slope or in raised beds for drainage. Here's where you come in. Drop a comment below. Do you grow lavender? How do you use it? Tea, sachets, essential oil? I'd love to know. Now let's talk about lavender in containers. Lavender is excellent in pots. Use a pot with drainage holes. Terracotta pots are best because they breathe and prevent overwatering. Use a gritty, well-draining potting mix. Mix regular potting soil with sand or perlite. Do not use moisture-retaining potting mix. Water only when the soil is dry. Fertilize lightly in spring. In cold climates, move pots to a protected spot or wrap them in winter. English lavender is hardy enough to stay outside in zones 5 and up. French and Spanish lavender need to come indoors in cold climates. Now let's talk about lavender as a hedge. Low-growing English lavender varieties like Hidcote and Munstead make beautiful hedges. Plant them 12 to 18 inches apart. They'll grow into a dense, fragrant border. Prune them after flowering to keep them compact. A lavender hedge looks beautiful along a walkway or around a herb garden. Now, let's talk about culinary uses. English lavender is the best for cooking. French and Spanish lavender have a stronger, more camphor-like flavor that's not pleasant in food. Use dried lavender flowers sparingly. A little goes a long way. Add to shortbread, scones, ice cream, honey, or sugar. Lavender pairs well with lemon and berries. Do not use lavender from garden centers that may have been treated with pesticides. Grow your own culinary lavender or buy organic. Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. How long does lavender live? With good care, 10 to 15 years. When is the best time to plant lavender? Spring, after the last frost. Can I grow lavender from seed? Yes, but it's slow. It's easier to buy plants or take cuttings. How do I take cuttings? Take 4-inch cuttings from non-flowering shoots in summer. Remove lower leaves, dip in rooting hormone, plant in sandy soil, keep moist. Roots form in 4 to 6 weeks. Why is my lavender not flowering? Not enough sun or too much nitrogen fertilizer. Do deer eat lavender? No, deer dislike the smell. Lavender is deer resistant. Let's wrap everything up. Lavender is one of the most rewarding plants for a sunny, dry garden. Give it full sun, plant in well-draining soil. If you have clay, plant in raised beds or containers. Lavender prefers neutral to slightly alkaline pH. If your soil is acidic, add lime. Water sparingly. Overwatering kills lavender. Don't fertilize much. Prune twice a year, early spring and after flowering. Never cut into old woody stems. Harvest flowers when half open. Dry them for sachets, tea, and cooking. Here's the most important thing to remember. Lavender is not a typical garden plant. It doesn't want rich soil. It doesn't want a lot of water. It doesn't want shade. Give it poor soil, full sun, and good drainage, and it will thrive with almost no work. Give it rich soil, too much water, and shade, and it will die. Plant lavender in the right place, and you'll enjoy its fragrance and beauty for years. Before you go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Are you planting lavender this year? What will you use it for? I'd love to hear about your garden. Also, what herb should I cover next? Rosemary? Thyme? Sage? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care of your garden, and it will take care of you. See you in the next video.